Hello, boys and girls. I really miss sharing some of my favorite stories with you, so today I wanted to share one with you online. I'm glad that we're able to do that. It's called Testing the Ice, a true story about Jackie Robinson. I know it's not the time of year that we see ice, but it is about a baseball player. This is the time of year that Major League Baseball usually has started. Unfortunately, things are a little bit different this year, but hopefully it'll get back to normal next year at this time. Before I read the story, I wanted to, somebody wanted to say hello. So let me grab her. Daisy wanted to say hello. And actually someone else wanted to say hello because we're both sitting here. And this is Ella. So we're going to hang out and listen as well. So again, I like to read Testing the Ice with permission from Scholastic. The year was 1955. Dad was in his 9th season with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and for the 3rd time in 4 years, they faced the New York Yankees in the World Series. When my father stole home in the first game, Yogi Berra, the Yankee catcher, screamed, "He's out!" The umpire, however, shouted, "He's safe!" It took 7 games, but the Brooklyn Dodgers finally beat the New York Yankees. Oh, how we celebrated. Earlier that year, my family moved from Queens in New York City to Cascade Road in Stamford, Connecticut. Our new house sat in the middle of 6 acres on a narrow, twisted road named for the waterfall at the end of it. The best part, according to my father, was the woods on 3 sides of the house, which screened us from the passing cars and curious strangers. But to my brothers, Jackie Jr., David, and me, the best part was our new friends, Candy, Willie, and Christy, and the lake that ran from our yard to our neighbor's yard a whole quarter of a mile away. We spent our first summer playing by the lake. We had picnics, we swam, and we rowed our boats, but no matter how much we begged, my dad would never come into the water. How our friends loved playing inside our house. Our playroom had a pool table, a soda fountain, and a huge gray boulder that was built into the wall. And while we took it all for granted, our friends made a big fuss over Dad's trophy room. They stared adoringly at his plaques, his silver bat, the signed baseballs, and Dad's bronze college football cleats. And they asked him questions in ways we never thought to ask. Then, one rainy Saturday morning, over a game of Monopoly, they got Dad talking about his historic entry into the major leagues. Baseball, like most of America, was segregated, Dad began. Major League Baseball was for whites only. Black and brown-skinned players had to play in the Negro Leagues. Some of the greatest baseball players were not white. They were denied entry into the major leagues just because of the color of their skin. Finding food worth eating or a restaurant to serve us was a daily problem. In many places we played, there was no hotel that allowed blacks. That was just the way things were in 1945, and no one expected them to change. I was playing for the Monarchs when Branch Rickey approached me. He told me he could get me into the Brooklyn Dodgers. "I know you're a good ball player, Mr. Rickey barked, but do you have the guts for this?" The next few minutes were tough as Rickey warned that I would be called all kinds of names, threatened, and attacked physically. The next question he asked startled me even more. Could I take all of this and still control my temper? I thought the doors opening to other black players after me and how the color barrier of baseball would be shattered. There was only one answer. "I'll do it," I said. Playing that first spring was tough, especially the game between the Dodgers and the Phillies. Some fans cheered me, others shouted insults that were so bad I had to struggle to keep my temper from exploding. After 7 scoreless innings, we got the Phillies out in the 8th, and it was our turn at bat. I led off. The insults were still coming. I lined into center field for a single, then took my lead. I cut out for second. The Phillies pitcher threw threw wide. The ball bounced past the shortstop. I rounded third and made it home. That was a sweet victory. We all sat wide-eyed, listening to his every word. My dad was amazing. Guess you showed Mr. Ricky that you had guts, Candy said. Sure did, Jackie Jr. replied proudly. That's why he won the first Rookie of the Year award. Yeah, and the Most Valuable Player award too, Willie added. Bet you'll even get into the Hall of Fame someday. Dad wasn't much into bragging, but I caught his lips curl into a smile. Dad retired after the 1956 season in a surprise move that shocked his fans, but he didn't stop there. After baseball, Dad took a job as vice president of a popular coffee company, wrote books, walked in protest marches alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and raised money for the civil rights movement. And best of all, he was home more. With Dad home, we did more as a family. The lake provided us with the most fun, though, every season of the year. In the spring, we watched frog eggs hatch into tadpoles. We fished, rowed the boat to sandbanks, and captured turtles, napping in the sun, but Dad stayed dry on the shoreline. In the summer, we challenged ourselves to swim across the width of the lake, but Dad cheered from the safety of the sandy shore. No matter how hard we pressed, Dad always found a reason not to get into the water. In the winter, the lake froze. My brothers and I huddled in the living room with our parents as we listened to the eerie sounds it made. It howled and moaned throughout the night. As the ice thickened, the sounds deepened. We waited nearly a week before popping the big question. We found Dad sitting by the fireplace reading the newspaper. A hot fire crackled and hissed. "We want to go ice skating," we all shouted. He looked up into 6 eager faces. "What did your mother say?" "She said we could," we told him. "Just as long as you come with us." Dad looked anxious. "It's below freezing," he reminded us. "Then the ice should be good and frozen," Jackie Jr. said. "Yeah, strong enough to hold even you," David chimed in. "Please, Mr. Robinson," Candy and Willie pleaded together. "Christy and I want to practice making figure eights," I added. Dad smiled proudly. "So it's figure eights today, is it, Shar?" I beamed. "Yes, Daddy. We've been practicing in our socks." "Well, in that case," he said, hiding sheepishly behind his newspaper, "I guess we should go." The mad scramble began. We all ran from room to room, looking for Dad's gloves, hat, and coat. Then we stood in front of Dad's chair, pleading and making funny faces and hurry-up hand signs until finally he put down the paper. Very slowly, he pulled on one giant black rubber boot and then the other. When Dad was dressed, he reluctantly led the way. We marched behind him, pushing him as we walked out the sliding glass doors, down the back stairs, and down the hill. When we reached the edge of the lake, Dad turned to us and said, "Wait!" Jackie, David, Candy, Willie, Christy, and I came to an abrupt halt. Then he ran to the house and returned with a shovel and a broomstick. As we lined up along the lake's edge, Dad eased out onto the snow-covered ice. "Dad, be careful," I shouted. "Don't fall in," David screamed. I grabbed Christy's mittened hand and squeezed. "What's wrong?" she whispered. "I'm scared," I replied as the reality suddenly dawned on me. My dad can't swim. Jackie Jr. twisted the cord attached to his sled. David and Candy and Willie stepped closer to the edge of the lake. Dad went further out. The ice crackled beneath his feet. He took another step, then cleared the snow from his path with a shovel. From the cleared spot, he was able to tell how thick the ice was. Before he placed one big foot in front of the other, he tapped the ice with his broomstick, testing it for weaknesses or cracks. Tap, tap, tap. Dad took a few steps forward. Tap, tap, tap. Then he took a few more steps. But as he was about to pronounce the ice safe, boom! A terrible noise roared from below the ice. "Dad!" I shrieked. I was sure the ice was going to open up and swallow him. Jackie Jr. stood ready to shove his sled to Dad. David, Candy, and Willie inched closer to my brother. We waited for what seemed like forever. "It was just an air bubble," Dad called to us as the sound moved down the lake. Dad took a few more steps, tapping as he moved to the deepest part of the lake. He stopped, gave one last tap with his stick, then turned to us and called out, "It's safe! Put your skates on!" We cheered loudly as we could, and we skated circles around Dad as he walked back into solid ground. All I could think was, my dad is the bravest man alive. Now years have passed, and we understand even more how much courage it took for my father to step out on that ice. In fact, Dad showed the same courage on the ice that day as he did when he broke the color barrier in baseball. No one really knew what would happen, but he felt his way along an untried path like a blind man tapping for clues. That was Jackie Robinson, and that was my dad. Big, heavy, out there alone in the lake, testing the ice to be sure it would be safe for us. And he did it, even though he couldn't swim. So I hope you guys enjoyed that book. That's one of my favorites. Jackie Robinson is one of my heroes.